It was a Tuesday when I discovered I'd been erased. I was sitting in a coffee shop in Boise, scrolling through my phone while nursing a latte. A notification popped up from my bank. Transaction denied. Insufficient funds. That was impossible. I had $15,000 in that account. I called the bank immediately. The woman on the line sounded bored. Your account has been frozen by court order. Estate settlement. Beneficiary declared missing and presumed deceased. My hand started shaking. What estate? The Pemberton estate. Filed 4 months ago. My grandfather's estate. My grandfather Raymond, who died 7 months ago. The man who raised me after my parents were killed in a car accident when I was 6. Who filed it? I asked, though I already knew. Patricia Pemberton. Listed as primary executor. My mother. The woman who hadn't spoken to me in 3 years. The woman who told me I was an embarrassment to the family when I chose social work over business. I wasn't missing. I was healing. There's a difference. And now I was apparently dead. Let me back up. My name is Iris Pemberton. I'm 29 years old, and until 3 years ago, I was considered part of Portland's most respected family. My grandfather Raymond built Pemberton Industries from nothing. Manufacturing, real estate, investments. By the time he sold it, the company was worth $40 million. My older brother Vincent went to Yale, now runs a consulting firm. My sister Claudia married into old money and spends her time hosting charity galas. Me, I studied social work. Wanted to help homeless youth instead of managing portfolios. That made me the black sheep. When I graduated, my father offered me a position in the family office. I declined. Wanted to work with at-risk teenagers instead. My mother called me ungrateful. My father called me naive. The final straw came when I spoke at a city council meeting about affordable housing. I mentioned how wealthy families hoarded resources while people slept on streets. My mother was in the audience. Her face went white with rage. She called me that night. You just humiliated this family. Don't bother coming to Thanksgiving. I didn't, and they never invited me back. Grandfather Raymond was different from the rest of them. He grew up poor, worked construction before starting his business, never forgot where he came from. When I was young, he'd take me to his warehouse and show me how things were built. Money doesn't make you better than anyone, he'd say. It just gives you more responsibility. He was the only one who supported my career choice. The last time I saw him was 3 months before he died. I visited him at the nursing home without telling anyone. He was frail but sharp. We talked for hours about everything except my family. Before I left, he squeezed my hand. Don't let them make you small, Iris. You're exactly who you're supposed to be. I cried in my car afterward. When he passed, I wasn't invited to the funeral. I found out 5 days later from a former coworker who saw the obituary online. I drove to the cemetery alone and left flowers on his grave. That was 7 months ago. Now, apparently I was dead too. I didn't go home that day. I sat in that coffee shop until they closed, researching everything I could find online about grandfather's estate. Nothing. The family had kept it completely private. So the next morning, I drove to Portland. 18 hours straight. I didn't stop except for gas and terrible truck stop coffee. My mind kept looping through the same thought. They didn't just cut me off. They erased me. And they did it legally. Quietly. Completely. I arrived in Portland just after midnight. The city looked the same. Rain on the windshield. The same buildings. The same streets where grandfather used to drive me to get ice cream. I didn't go to the family house. I checked into a cheap motel on the outskirts of town. Paid cash. Used a fake name. I wasn't ready to confront them yet. I needed information first. I needed to know exactly what they'd done and how deep the lie went. So the next morning, I started where all family secrets hide. The county courthouse. The probate office smelled like old paper and broken dreams. I walked up to the clerk's desk and asked for public records on the Raymond Pemberton estate. The clerk didn't ask questions, just printed everything and handed me a thick stack. I took it to a corner table and started reading. The will they filed wasn't the one grandfather showed me. In the real will, the one he'd walked me through 2 years before he died, I was named co-executor with my mother. I inherited his farmhouse, and I got 40% of his estate. In the fake will, my name appeared once. In a footnote, Iris Pemberton, previously named beneficiary, has been declared missing and presumed deceased as of March 7th. March 7th, 2 weeks after grandfather died. They didn't wait. They didn't search. They just declared me gone and rewrote everything. My mother got primary executor status. Vincent got $2 million. Claudia got $2 million. Everything else was divided between them. I got nothing because I was dead. I found the death declaration buried in the attached documents. It was signed by my mother, certified by a doctor named Howard Chun who I'd never heard of. The document claimed I'd been missing for 8 months, that I'd shown signs of severe mental distress before disappearing, that I'd stopped responding to all contact and abandoned my life. None of it was true. I had bank records, rent receipts, work pay stubs, a lease in Boise with my signature on it dated 2 months ago. I wasn't missing. I was employed. I had a gym membership. I just renewed my driver's license. But none of that mattered, because my mother filed first, and no one thought to check if I was actually dead. I took photos of everything with my phone. Then I sat back in that hard plastic chair and felt something cold settle into my chest. They wanted me dead. Fine. I'd stay dead, just long enough to bury them with their own lies. I spent the next 3 days doing research. I found Dr. Howard Chen's office, a tiny practice in a strip mall near the airport. I sat in my car across the street and watched. He saw maybe 5 patients all day. His waiting room was empty. The paint was peeling. This wasn't a successful doctor. This was someone desperate for money. I waited until closing time. Then I walked in. The receptionist looked up, surprised. We're closed. I just need to talk to Dr. Chen for 1 minute. She hesitated, then buzzed him. He came out wiping his hands on a paper towel. Mid-50s, thinning hair, nervous eyes. Can I help you? I pulled out my driver's license and held it up. I'm Iris Pemberton. You signed my death certificate 4 months ago. His face went white. I think we should talk, I said. Unless you prefer I go straight to the medical board. He invited me into his office. Dr. Chen didn't try to lie. Your mother came to me, he said, hand shaking. She said you'd been missing for months, that the family needed closure. She offered me $10,000 to sign the paperwork. And you didn't verify anything. She had documents, a police report about a missing person, medical records showing you'd been treated for depression. I've never been treated for depression, and no police report was ever filed. He looked like he might be sick. She showed me official paperwork. It looked legitimate. It was fake. All of it. I didn't know. Yes, you did. You just needed the money. He couldn't meet my eyes. I leaned forward. Here's what's going to happen. You're going to write a statement admitting everything. You're going to explain exactly what my mother asked you to do. And you're going to file a retraction with the state. I could lose my license. You should lose your license. But if you cooperate, I'll consider not pressing charges. He wrote the statement right there. Signed it. Dated it. I took it and left. Next, I needed the real will. Grandfather had mentioned once that he kept important documents with his old lawyer, a man named Gerald Hartwick, who'd retired years ago. I found his address in public records, a small house on the east side of town. I knocked on the door. An elderly man answered, using a cane. Mr. Hartwick? Yes. My name is Iris Pemberton. I think you knew my grandfather, Raymond. His expression changed immediately. Iris, my God, come in. He led me to a cluttered study. Papers everywhere. Books stacked on every surface. I heard you were dead, he said, settling into a worn leather chair. I'm not, but my family wants everyone to think I am. He nodded slowly. Raymond warned me this might happen. What do you mean? He stood and walked to a filing cabinet, unlocked it, pulled out a sealed envelope. He gave me this 2 months before he died, made me promise to hold it until you came asking. My hands trembled as I took it. Inside was grandfather's real will, dated, signed, witnessed, and a letter addressed to me. I read the letter 3 times, sitting in Mr. Hartwick's study while he made tea. Iris, if you're reading this, something went wrong. Your mother probably tried to cut you out. I'm sorry. I should have confronted her while I was alive. But I was weak, and I thought maybe she'd surprise me. She didn't. This will is the real one. You're co-executor with Gerald Hartwick, not Patricia. You get the farmhouse, 40% of my assets, and control over the family trust. Don't let them bully you. You're stronger than all of them combined. I love you, kiddo. Always did. Grandpa Raymond. I folded the letter carefully and put it in my pocket. He knew, I said. Mr. Hartwick handed me a cup of tea. He knew your mother was capable of this. He just hoped she wouldn't actually do it. What do I do now? We file this will with the court. Contest the fake one. And expose what they did. They'll fight. Let them. We have the truth. I looked at the will in my hands. Legal. Binding. Undeniable. When can we file? Tomorrow morning. That night, I sat in my motel room and made a list. Evidence I had, the Real will. Dr. Chen's confession. Bank records proving I was alive. Work documents. Lease agreements. Photos of the fake will from the courthouse. Evidence they had. A forged death certificate. A fake will. And lies. I couldn't sleep. My mind kept spinning through scenarios. What would they do when they found out I was alive? Would they try to explain it away? Claim it was a mistake? Or would they fight harder? Try to destroy me completely? I knew my mother. She didn't back down. She doubled down. This was going to get ugly. But I was ready. Because grandfather had given me something they didn't have. The truth. And the legal right to fight back. The next morning, I met Mr. Hartwick at his office. He'd come out of retirement for this. Are you sure you want to do this? He asked. It's going to tear your family apart. They tore me apart first. He nodded. Then let's file. The courthouse was busier on a Thursday morning. Mr. Hartwick filed the motion to contest the existing will and submit the original. He attached Dr. Chen's confession, my proof of life documents, and a detailed timeline showing exactly when the fake death certificate was filed. The clerk's eyes widened as she read through everything. This is going to cause problems. That's the point, I said. The current executor will be notified immediately. Good. She stamped the documents. You should expect a response within 72 hours. We left. Mr. Hartwick drove me to lunch at a diner near his house. What happens now? I asked. Your mother will panic. She'll hire lawyers. They'll try to fight the legitimacy of the will I'm filing. Can they win? No. Raymond's will is airtight. Witnessed by 3 people, notarized, filed with me as his attorney of record. It's legitimate. And the death certificate? That's fraud. Criminal fraud. Dr. Chen's confession proves your mother paid him to falsify it. I felt something cold and sharp settle in my stomach. She could go to jail. Yes. I should have felt guilty. Should have felt conflicted. I didn't. I felt free. The response came faster than expected. My phone rang that afternoon. Unknown number. I answered. Hello. Iris. My mother's voice. Cold as January. I hear you're alive. I've been alive this whole time. You just declared me dead without checking. We thought you were missing. We were trying to settle the estate properly. You forged a death certificate. That's not settling an estate. That's committing fraud. Silence. Then we should talk. In person. I don't think so. Iris, this is family business. We can work this out privately. You made it public business when you filed that fake will. I'm still your mother. You haven't been my mother in 3 years. You've been someone who wanted me gone. Now you have to deal with me being here. I hung up. My hands were shaking, but not from fear, from power. For the first time in years, I had leverage, and I wasn't letting go. Vincent called next. My brother, who I hadn't spoken to in 3 years. Iris, we need to fix this. There's nothing to fix. Grandfather left me executor. I'm taking the position. You can't be serious. You don't know anything about managing an estate. I know more than you think. Mom's the one who should be in charge. She understands the family business. Mom's the one who committed fraud. She's not in charge of anything anymore. You're being vindictive. No. Vindictive would be pressing criminal charges. I haven't done that yet. Silence. Yet. His voice cracked. Dr. Chen gave me a full confession. Mom paid him to sign my death certificate. That's a felony. You'd send our mother to jail? She declared me legally dead, so she could steal my inheritance. What would you call that? He hung up. Claudia didn't call. She sent an email instead. Iris, I don't know what happened between you and Mom, but this is affecting all of us. Can we please talk like adults? I didn't respond. The court hearing was scheduled for 2 weeks later. Mr. Hartwick and I spent that time preparing. He walked me through estate law, fiduciary duty, executor responsibilities, everything I needed to know. Your mother's lawyers will try to prove you're unfit, he said. They'll say you abandoned the family, that you're mentally unstable, that you can't handle the responsibility. Let them try. They'll bring up your job, your living situation. They'll make you sound irresponsible. I have a steady job. I pay my bills. I have references. Good. We'll need all of that. I spent a week gathering documentation, employment records, tax returns, letters from my supervisor, my landlord, my therapist. I wasn't unstable. I was someone who'd walked away from a toxic family and built a life. That wasn't weakness. It was strength. And I was going to prove it. The night before the hearing, I drove past the family house. The lights were on. I could see shadows moving behind the curtains. I wondered what they were saying. Were they scared? Angry? Plotting? Probably all three. Claudia sent me a letter instead of calling. It arrived at Mr. Hartwick's office addressed in her careful handwriting. Iris, I know you're angry. You have every right to be. But what you're doing is destroying everyone. Vincent can't pay back the money. I can't either. We spent it. Mom might go to prison. Is that really what you want? I understand you felt excluded. I should have reached out. I'm sorry. But please, think about the consequences. Can we talk? Claudia, I read it twice. Then I put it in a folder with all the other evidence. Her apology was too late and too convenient. They were sorry because they got caught, not because they were wrong. I didn't respond. The criminal investigation took 3 months. The district attorney built a case around Dr. Chen's confession, the falsified death certificate, and the financial trail showing my mother's immediate distribution of assets. They offered her a plea deal. Admit to fraud, pay restitution, serve probation. She refused, decided to fight it in court. Her trial was scheduled for 6 months out. In the meantime, Mr. Hartwick and I finished sorting the estate. I kept what grandfather left me. The farmhouse, 40% of the assets, control over the family trust. The rest was distributed according to his original will. Vincent and Claudia got their shares. My mother got nothing. She'd forfeited her inheritance by committing fraud. I moved into the farmhouse 3 months after the hearing. It smelled like cedar and dust, like memory, like grandfather. I spent weeks cleaning it, painting walls, planting flowers in the garden, and slowly it started feeling like home. 1 year after I discovered I'd been declared dead, I stood in grandfather's farmhouse kitchen, drinking coffee and watching the sun rise. My mother's trial had ended 2 months earlier. She was convicted of fraud and falsification of records. She got 2 years probation and had to pay $75,000 in restitution. Vincent and Claudia had returned their portions. Quietly, resentfully. We didn't speak anymore. They'd made their choice when they stood by her. I'd made mine when I fought back. The farmhouse was mine now. Fully, legally, peacefully. I'd started a small nonprofit in grandfather's name, using part of my inheritance to help young people aging out of foster care. People like I might have been if grandfather hadn't taken me in. And every day, I remembered what he told me. Don't let them make you small. I hadn't. They tried to erase me, tried to make me disappear. Instead, I'd come back stronger. I'd taken what was mine. I'd held them accountable. And I'd built something meaningful from the ashes of their betrayal. My family cut me off because I wasn't who they wanted. But grandfather saw who I really was. And he gave me the power to prove them all wrong. That was the inheritance that mattered most. Not the money, the belief.